Hi guys, it's not easy to talk about a superstar who just passed away. It's the 8th of November, actually it's the 9th of November, Monday, close to 8 o'clock. I had to take a hell of a long time just to process it, and it's still processing. You hear Alex Trebec. I can't believe it. I mean, it's just, but it was expected. It was oncoming. It was inevitable, unfortunately. And pancreatic cancer is one of those things that men and women have to watch out for, especially the men. And once it hits, and it's hard to get rid of. There's always a certain death zone. And it gives us a lesson of urgency in this life. We can't take things for granted. We can't take anything else for granted. And if we did, we're just not doing what we should be doing. And the unfortunate part is we'll look at this, bypass it, go on our way, and then hit the tragedy square in the face. Our face. We're not going to have a bloody nose. We're going to have a smashed-in face. A reminder. I'm not going to say about the proverbial stuff that people say, life is too short. Well, it is. It is. We spend too much time bickering and arguing over things and not appreciating family and friends, despite the fact that we may have differences in many ways. But at least we have friends. We have made icons as family members, per se. Couldn't have a regular family member, so we adopt. And certain characters, certain people become part of our own family. It's hard to deal with the death of a family member. Superstars, we think, come and go. A lot of them leave a indelible mark on us. Norm Crosby was one of those guys. Old-time Hollywood. Nobody talked about him just yet. He passed away last night at 93. 93-year-old Norm Crosby had a hell of a lot of wit in the 60s, 70s. Different shows, different comedy sketches. Comedy routines. Had a hell of a wit on him. Growing up, I heard about Norm Crosby. But I never had a favorite story to share about him because I didn't have context about the guy. I did not have any understanding who Norm Crosby was. My grandmother would have. My mother would have. My brother would have. Went over my ear. Went over my head. Past 35 years, or almost 40 years, Jeopardy was hosted by one person or another person, and then we have Alex Trebec, 1984, 1985, I think. All the way through now. He'd been a constant. He had been constant. He had been constant. Despite whatever happened, he was constant. And dealing with that, you took it for granted. I mean, I put myself in the third person party at this point over here. I'm trying not to belittle or insult the fans out there or the family in any way, shape, or form. In dealing with someone who became normal and became regular in your family, you would learn a hell of a lot of things. My brother would be watching for hours on end of Jeopardy, days on end. He loved Jeopardy. I watched it from time to time with him just to get a good rise out of it, just to see whatever they had. I'm like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Wow, I did not. You did know that? I knew that. Well, I didn't know that. But we both try to outguess each other. We looked at the questions. We watched Ken Jennings trying to kick ass left and right years ago. That was the only superstar I knew on a contestants was Ken Jennings. He had been on there for weeks, months. Smart man. And there was 3 smart people besides Jennings. Gets up there, actually 2 more. Go against IBM. The humans had beaten the computer in the game. It's the same computer system that powers our internet and everything else that IBM sets out to do. I didn't even realize he was a Valley resident out there, living in areas that I didn't even hardly ever crossed all that time, except just driving through it all the time with my brother. And he lived out there. He was married for a long while, too. Had kids. These adult kids, both step and from previous marriage. Torn apart is the understatement of it all at this point over here, because they're going to have fond memories of him. They're going to have a lot of things, and what's going to tear them apart at this point is the extreme grief that kicks in left and right. The amount of love that we put into our relatives, the more love we put into the people we actually care about, comes back like a boomerang and hits you hard. You know, it was kind of truthful a little bit. When you heard just one song, It's So Easy Not to Try, Let the World Go On Drifting By. If you never say hello, you never say goodbye. I heard that song from a cartoon called Return of the King. Baskin Rassin were making a Hobbit series. And hearing that from a folk singer of Glen Yarborough, it stuck with me all through these years. Lessons that it taught us, was teaching me. Sometimes it would stick, and other times it just filter through the head. If we never knew Alex Trebec, we would have never fell in love with him. We would have never enjoyed his talent, his wit, professionalism, his heart, his soul, his mind. We would have never cared a great deal about him. People could try going on and on with stories, personal touches that they've had, or episodes. I remember a lot of episodes. The thing is, when you look at the guy, just almost consider him as just another staple on television that you'd watch. Not even considering that the mortality rate of this guy, not even considering that this guy is going to pass away from us. And if we hadn't opened him up to our hearts, we haven't opened him up into our homes, Alex Trebec would just been another person, just another statistic, just another person to be put in the damn mortuary pitches, obituaries, left and right. Who cares about Alex Trebec? It's like, who cares about Alex Trebec? It's just another person. Guy was a warm guy coming from Canada. Warm personality. He may have had a darker side, he may have a deeper, angry side. He never showed it to people. Hardly ever. Nobody ever talked about him in a negative way. They always talked to him in a positive way, because that's the way he always wanted to be remembered by people passing by. And that's how he should be remembered. Because in dealing with death like this, there is not much to say to degenerate the guy or smear his reputation, because it's already been solidified by many that he's touched. Nor should we. Nor should we. I have never personally met the man. There was a lot of celebrities I have never had the chance to meet, and yet they affect me one way or another. You take a person, you take a family member for granted, you take the visualization, you take the presence, like, yeah, they'll be back, they'll be back, they'll be back. And the next day they're not. Okay, they'll be back, they'll be back, they'll be back. Days later, weeks later, months later, years later, to blow them off. When they make an impression, when they make a connection somehow, you have to follow through, you have to follow up. You have to make sure that you're connected. The sound you're hearing in the background is the dishwasher going off. But the feelings, the sentiments had to be set. They had to be. Life goes on, as the dishwasher reminds me. But the emotions don't. They still shatter and rattle me. I am thinking that a celebrity of the status we had put and placed upon Alex, we placed him on a pedestal that we feel like we could never match or even surpass. The joy and love he gave us, the challenges he endured and brought us along with him to follow through his own agony, and follow through his own ecstasy, through his own course. He announced a bombshell earlier this year, and he had to fight like hell. He didn't want the tabloids to, at least I feel, he didn't want the tabloids to smear him in any way, shape, or form. He brought his case forth to jeopardy. He brought it forth to the world. And the world reacted. Not like an irritation on the skin, more like your heart ripped out and drop kicked. Someone that you grew up with, someone that you've been accustomed to for all the time, someone that you really didn't think you cared enough about as a human being, as a friend, as just another stranger. And now suddenly, your world's turned upside down. For those who've actually experienced a hell of a lot of grief in their family, you know the feeling. We've been there too many damn times. This is life. This is life. This is things we have to deal with, to cope with. This is not the easiest damn thing in the world, and I'm addressing this to the family of Alex Trebec. Yes, there will be pain. There will be joy. There will be memories. There will be laughter. There will be something. But in the meantime, hold on to your asses. Hold on to your asses. Hold on to each other tightly. Because this damn thing will tear your ass apart. I know. We've all been there. We've all walked through it. We know we all got to go through the process, and it still hurts like hell. As we remember your beloved father, your beloved husband, beloved friend, family member, we are also reminded of our own that we've lost. And the grief is shared a great deal. It is shared because of the path we also walk. It's not easy. It isn't. It's easy enough to tell you to stay strong. It's easy enough to tell you that things will be better, it'll be all right. Time will heal all your wounds. And I know some people will probably tell you that just to probably ease your pain. I've heard some things like that, but I've also heard that, hold on to your ass, Fred. You're not done with it yet, you're just getting started. I have lost my mother back in 2013. Natural causes. Diabetes, heart, breathing, respiratory. She had a lot of things. And she was willing to go home. She had lost a lot of her own kin. And I'm talking about her two sons, me and my brother. She also had brothers and sisters who passed before her. Aunts and uncles and everybody else that she loved. She was ready to go home. Hardest damn thing to sign the damn paperwork and know that there's only a shell and a corpse there. Because you already felt she's already gone. It was raining that day too. February 19th, 2013. Ma always did love rainy days. She always did. My brother could care less about the rainy days. It was Ma's days, but every time it was raining, it made him sad as hell. Me too. Because we both gone through the same experience of losing her on a rainy day, and we had to cling tightly to each other. And the hardest damn thing is knowing that your loved one has passed away peacefully. Now, when you had somebody, not when you lose somebody who's raged against the night, did not go down without a fight. My brother did that. Struggling through after effects of a stroke, diabetes, heart condition. He was still fighting like crazy to live. But he also got sick and tired of what he was going through in the first place. All I have left of my family, my immediate family, is her. 16 years. She has seen both of them die. She's still traumatized by it. So am I. This is my mama's. I'm not saying get yourself a dog. It helps. So you have someone to love and care about. He passed away September of 2018. Standing in his very chair, fighting for breath. Ambulance came in, took him out. Next thing I know, they were wheeling him into the emergency room as a corpse, and I didn't even realize that he died in transit. Hardest damn thing. Excuse me for a minute. Apologize for the inconvenience there. Some things I had to get off my chest and cry about. Look, the only thing I can suggest to you folks is hold on to each other tight. You have done beyond a remarkable job of taking care of Alex. You have. Giving him hope, strength, courage, everything that you could and more. You have given in and you dug in And when you couldn't give any more, you had to dig in further. And you really had to go all out almost every single minute. That's what I did for my own family. I did as best as I could. And there's a lot of things I regret that I should have done better. There's a lot of things I could have done better for my own family. But I have to realize one thing. I'm only human, and I did the best anybody could do as a caregiver. And I'm not saying let history judge me. So it's my time. I'll be talking to him again. And I will see just how rotten of a caregiver I was. I tried to throw humor in here, but sometimes it's ill-conceived sometimes. I have to say this, I have to put this on documentation, okay? This is going to be a long rant. For me, the holiday seasons were the most important thing because I spent them with my family. I spent them with family, I spent them with friends. We celebrated Thanksgiving meals, we celebrated Christmas meals, we celebrated Christmas Day with trees and presents and lights. And sometimes, in the last part of several years, that wasn't even possible. But we struggled, we managed. When my mother died back in 2013, it's like Christmas spirit almost got taken away from her. And that year, my brother and I struggled to put up Christmas decorations and a Christmas tree, lights, and decorated a place that we had home for a little bit. And we tried to make it as important to us as other people, because we tried to give ourselves to others so we would not feel the deficit inside of our hearts. We were trying to help others so we would not be reminded of the loss we've had. And it wasn't all that easy. But at least helping others in whatever way we could was a way to get past the pain, even for a short time. Down the road, sometimes it gets returned back to us in ways we don't even realize it. I'm trying to give this to you. You have a family now. Cherish every one of them. Every one of you cherish each other, please. When you're down to one member, the hardest damn thing to wake up to early in the morning on a Christmas day is there's nobody here. There's nobody here to celebrate with. There's nobody here to hear snoring in a chair. Or to wake up and feel it's just not a regular day. It is a day that was supposed to be special to you and your family. When you see loved ones on a screen, sometimes it does give you a little bit of hope, a little bit of encouragement. I can't say listening to the Christmas music usually helps during this time of season. I will tell you in whole honesty, past couple of years, it hasn't been easy and it hasn't been kind. But it's been survivable. It just hurts like a son of a bitch. On my language. But I know that Alex would want you and everybody else not to feel lousy for him or for yourselves. Grief has a way of stealing out the thunder of what was supposed to be a joyous holiday for everybody. It is a reminder of our mortality. It is a reminder of things that are temporary in life. It's not just losing a piece of jewelry or furniture or something. Things can be replaced, mostly. Pictures, different story altogether. But you keep them in your heart and your soul and your mind. You don't lose them. You don't lose Alex. You don't lose his love. You don't lose his wit, his laughter, his smiles, his easygoing manner. You don't lose those qualities when you keep thinking about them. How they would want to be remembered and how they would want you to go on. The struggle. Even go through the pain. But they also want you to wake up in the morning, grab a cup of coffee, look across the empty table, and just say good morning. You might be surprised to feel a presence. I'll say good morning back. I don't have that, but I've heard it's happened. I basically sit in a position where my brother sat for a long while. I sat on one side of a table, my brother sat on this side of the table. He always did have his back to the wall because he wanted to see everything coming at him. He was a warrior in every sense of the way. He was a fighter. But it was one fight he couldn't win. It was one fight that took everything from him. But it didn't take his dignity, it didn't take his self-respect, it didn't take his worth, it didn't take everything else that honored him. The only thing that was gone was just his mortality. But everything else that was him and is him is still around me and here in me. His wisdom, his strength of character, his love. My mother's love too. I don't deny her either. Except throughout the past several years before my brother's death, I bonded tighter than any brother should. Normal brothers would kill each other sometimes. We had our rivalries, but we also had a deeper respect for each other. We learned how to watch each other's back, protect each other. He depended upon me as I depended upon him. Now I have to depend on myself. But I still carry the mark inside me. I still carry the pain and the grief. And I always will until the day I die. But I also remember that I don't have to grieve for long. There will be times I remember his smile, his smart-ass ways, and at times be surprised that I emulated him more than what I thought. That he rubbed off me a great deal more than everybody else had. And I've become more like my brother than I realized. And one thing I have to say is you're going to do the same thing regarding Mr. Alex Trebec. He has rubbed off on a lot of us. And the way understated phrase that people will say, and you can shake your heads and laugh at the damn thing. I would. They'll be missed. No kidding. They'll be missed in the presence and all the habits that you've gotten used to. But not the love, not the memories, not the laughter, not the warmth. They're in here. As my family still is. I may carry the pictures on my chest. I may carry the pictures on a wall. I may put pictures all over the place. Physical photographs can be burned up. Not out of here. Human heart. And in the mind. And the soul. The world will mourn Alex Trebec. But we both know we will mourn our loved one. We will grieve. But we will also find joy. And again, we will share it. God bless you, Alex Trebec. God bless you to you and the family. God bless you one and all during this season. It's John Cameron Weaver from Roseman, California.